I'm still messing around with my ears.
Just like last week, Fru. Just like last week.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Also, good afternoon and good evening. This is Dr. PhilGood
Coming live.
with
Coming
another
live.
fun episode.
Informative and fun, Fru. Informative and fun. I want you to know something early on in this show that Fru kindly asked that I take the right side of the screen, and she's taking my seat. I'm taking her seat today. When doing so, you guys know I'm having my moment of the year, my period, which comes once
Month.
my period month.
Of the year.
And so things are difficult for me. Last week, I was a wreck, the whole show.
Oh,
But this week, I've got her mix. So if I sound like Fru.
And now everything's
you're not
perfect, so I got sick, in case you can hear it on my voice. It's always so lovely to
We're sick and tired.
admit,
Uh-oh, there goes your battery.
I'm so sorry, that you're sick when you're into wellness.
It
so
happens.
much.
You know,
But
that's the
it
whole purpose
does.
in living the way we do, though, so that we get sick least amount of times and for less amount of time.
Well, let's welcome everybody here.
Welcome,
who
welcome,
is
welcome.
up for some weekly broadcast on trauma recovery and cellular health and
Thanks
real
for being
life
here
healing.
with us. I'm David Carson. This is my wife. Just call her Fru. Her name's Frugina, but, you know, you got to be able to do stuff like that when you say her name. Say it properly. Oh, yeah, or Justin will get it. I changed her name from Frugina to Fru because every time I said her name, I got corrected. So I was like, forget it. I'm calling her Fru.
Yes, you're more than welcome to call me Fru.
Thanks,
I don't
Fru.
mind. This series is proudly sponsored by the Patrick Risher CTE Awareness Foundation, whose mission is to prevent CTE through education and early intervention.
A mission that's critical for families like ours, navigating brain injury, behavioral changes, and long-term caregiving.
So please visit their website, stopcte.org.
You're just a little bit sick, but you need to move into the table a little more. See how farther back you are?
Gladly.
Yeah, come on, get in here with us.
Now, can we tell everybody what inspired today's episode?
Go right ahead, sister. Wasn't it Chris in the UK?
Yes, a conversation with him, which was about what you've done, David. Everybody wants to know.
What I've done!
What have you done in the past 7 years?
I survived, man. That's what I did. I was in survival mode.
Well,
No, before I met Fru,
what kind of mode
all I
are you
was
in
in
now?
survival mode. Now I'm in thrive mode. You got to make some adjustments, and you've got to have some support, which goes right along with this wonderful theme of today. The
Because
title.
one of the most transformative shifts we made 7 years ago was
It's a big
that
one,
we decided to attend church about 3 times every week. And made that a priority where we wouldn't miss any of the services.
You know, my mother
And-
told us from when we first come back that I had a terrible time with time. I still have a tempest. No wonder I like the name of
Definitely
that.
getting
I
better.
still have my fights with time, but it helped to have Sunday morning and Sunday night I go to church. Wednesday I go to church if there's a Wednesday service. If there's not, I try to get together with the community in some way. But we have church on Wednesday everywhere we've been at, so we go to church. That helps me know what day. I still sometimes think it's Wednesday on a Thursday, or sometimes I get messed up.
But it's easier, as I've seen you, it's easier it used to be easier for you to get messed up about the days, and just like you would go much farther when you didn't have like a weekly consistent routine. So there is that part of it.
That also made me feel lost. So the more lost or confused I was by not knowing what day it was,
But honestly, I was interested in talking about this for a different reason
Go
today.
ahead, bring it up,
Because,
sister.
yeah, because what it meant to me, or what it started to change in my life big time, was the community that I become a part of, that comes with a culture and lifestyle changes or lifestyle choices. That as wellness practitioner, I knew that holistically is very, very important. But just to talk a little bit to trauma and mental health warriors, survivors, or people who deal with CT or PTSD or CPTSD not almost a prognosis. It's a diagnosis that I've heard very often lately from people, which could be a prognosis depending on what somebody's mindset is. But without getting into that, let me just say that I see holistic healing as where we have 4 layers, and I like to call it bodies, but everybody can call it whatever they want to. But like the principle is that we have our thinking mind, we have our emotions, we have our physical body, and then we have our soul, which is a connection with the Creator. And so, what I firmly believe at this point in our life, and thank you for making this possible for me to see
Oh,
in
you're
so
very
many
welcome.
different ways, because you've been part of it big time from the very beginning, and then this community
I told her in the beginning
turned into a big part of
I got
it.
the Word of God in my heart because my mom and dad shoved the Bible so
Is
far up
that
my
now
butt.
I can say that I believe, because I've seen it working, and I've met so many people who also said that there is no physical healing without spiritual healing,
Right.
and there is no spiritual healing without physical healing.
Hey,
So
I looked up a statistic today because I was just I didn't even say the word SUI, self-harm. I have to, like, our foundation has the title. I'm going to change the name of our foundation so that I can just use it online.
good idea.
Anyway, but I was looking up some.
Stop self-harm.
Like, when a person has faith, you may not believe in God, so you don't have what you consider faith. You're like, I don't have faith in God. So I was just looking up, ways to say, if you don't, you got to believe in something greater than yourself. When you get desperate enough and you're in this, like,
hopeless.
this disease grabs you and, I mean, really truly cripples you, and
trauma.
you're just
Hopeless.
lost, confused, and the next thing is lights out on you. There's no problem in if you don't believe in God. God's, he's attracted, first of all, to the worst case scenarios. So, like, if you don't believe in God, it's a great time to just go, look, I don't believe in you, but if you're real, show up, because that's what happens. I was started out to say, I was going to read this. But so a psychiatry study of 109,000 U.S. health professionals found that attending services at least once a week was associated with 68% lower risk of death by self-harm or drug overdose or alcohol. In women, 33% less risk in men.
It is crazy.
Yeah, I just by starting, I didn't know that when I started going to church. Matter of fact, I kind of went kicking and screaming. I didn't want to go back to church.
Morning, and that's all because we're talking about the community, and I think that's what that number actually leads to. Like, of course, we don't know from the statistics what kind of churches and how many times they attended, and like all that kind of stuff, because
it's just going to community is what we're looking at.
At the end of the day, what we're talking about here
community
is being in a community regulates our nervous system, and it reduces stress hormones, and these are already spiritually proven, scientifically proven. So therefore they have a spiritual, effect on society, how much we understand these things, and how much we actually apply them to our everyday life. That's still a personal choice whether or not you want to go to church or be with people, but the fact that every single 12-step programs, for example, this is a big theme that came up in conversations with this international team that understands this concept in terms of like healing. um, every single 12-step programs have a step where you have to do something for the community. So like that hopelessness that David described, that how I experienced it in my life was a definite indication that I wasn't doing enough for my community. Like that's why people feel like they have no purpose a lot of times.
Oh, I like how that worked in my benefit, by the way. You want to tell that story? You told it to me a little earlier, and I started glowing.
Yeah, that I've heard David saying so many times, not just like telling me as a story, but also when he was talking to people who were suicidal. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. I'm so sorry. Well,
Done said
hopefully
it now.
we're still online. That one of the things when he felt like completely lost and lost his mind and everything, that he knew that the only thing that he could do that would benefit him and then others of course too was to volunteer. And then he started to work in was it a soup kitchen? It's not like that kindness awaits. I'm not.
We don't
Hey,
have to read them out loud.
well, yeah, right. But frog sprung, I'm not sure. Do you understand what that means
Well,
in this text? So
maybe there's not so much kindness. That's not always kindness awaiting at church. Maybe that's.
oh
something
yeah,
you're
that
talking
could
about. Or
be.
in the community.
Well, in the community,
In the
exactly.
community at
Thank
all.
you
It
for
doesn't
bringing
matter.
that up. That's a really important point. That's why it was important from our point is the commitment that we, like we went there and then I hated that they were giving out, candies to people, and there were things that I didn't like, or that I went to church functions and all the foods that were served were stuff that I was trying to avoid, like. And then of course I don't want to hang out with toxic people, and then there are toxic people in churches just like everywhere else.
But
too.
it's what we're looking at is, okay, if you have a problem with church, take church out of it and look at it as community. And then when you go to community, it's going to be the same thing. You still got the same type of people in every scenario, where at work, whether at the gym, whether at whatever you're
Right.
doing, you still have that. So it's a matter of finding your people within those people and giving yourself a purpose, like a serious having a purpose to help someone who's in need.
And being
That's
in a community,
not
make it
looking-
a priority. Like this is part
not
of.
seeking kindness, but bringing kindness.
And then when you bring kindness, you find kinder people, and then make sure that you pour into those people so that you can have a community of kind people. That's kind of like we were talking about this.
well,
But
there's
this is
cliques in
an-
every group of people.
But this
Just
isn't a
create your-
promotion for you to go to church. So like that's what I want to point out real fast. We're focusing on how this benefits you to heal. So
And this is a big study. I was just looking up. There's 498 studies found that the large majority showed higher religious involvement was linked to more life satisfaction, happiness, positive effect, and high morale. I mean, your morale's high. You got more hope. Well, because the end's not here when you die.
like I also like to point out that I met David because I wanted to help somebody, and I wasn't part of a church. So I'm also not gonna say that if you're part of a church, the church is gonna make you to help people. But I'm gonna say this: if you're part of a church community, this is one thing that I'm really grateful for. I always have an opportunity to do something for the community because they make it possible.
Yeah.
So
our community, our church in
whereas
Bethlehem
the
is
reason
really busy.
why I
busy.
ended up in David's arms, back in Denver, Colorado, is because I didn't have a community and I needed to make up the opportunity to help somebody.
This is
and
how important one single person is. Because of her, she made me a community project for her. She became my community. I had no one. And now because of her making that move, I've got all my family back. I've got my life back. I've got a vision and a way to help folks. And then I'm also got a real community here that will reach out and help me when I need it.
So the purpose of this is to build a foundation for emotional healing. And
Go back to your roots. Let's do that.
yeah. That's right. So like when I met David, okay, like let's talk about that. I wasn't a churchgoer at all, okay? I didn't believe
And
in
by the time she
organized
met me, I
religions.
wasn't either anymore.
And but what I understood though is that people who go to churches are people too. Like they're, people. They're just people with beliefs and opinions and ideas, and they're not all wrong or right. So I started to play with the idea, but that's not why we went back to church. What happened was more so that I intuitively knew that for him to heal, he needed to be connected with a community. And the first community, the easiest one to be connected with, is our family. But also, like what statistics show, if you guys are familiar with the blue zones or what the blue zones are, or what they mean, is that you can find that in blue zones, people actually live closer to their families. And that's not something that I knew when I met David. So that's also just to prove that this isn't just the textbook and statistics. This is also something that we know internally feel, that being isolated makes us sick. Like it makes us worse. Because why? I'll tell you why. It's not about the church. You can even go that far that say it's not about the relationship with the Creator, although that's a big part of it. But it's about, do you have a support system? Do you know how many people I talk to who don't have a support system at all? None whatsoever. How would you be a happy person if you're sick and you had no support? And then if you're not happy, then what would make you to want to heal?
Well, we have well, she has a little bit of art therapy, I suppose. Abby, she doesn't really have much support.
Yes, but that's a great thing. That's why what I was
I had no support when Fru met me. I had been like, when you lose your mind, it's not like losing other stuff that you can just get right back, because you did it with the mind you got. When you lose your mind, you lose everybody along with it, because first of all, they don't see you what you're doing. They don't see the invisible injury.
And you lose everything with it, because until
as brain injured folks hurt people's feelings like crazy.
Yeah, and that's why, because until you see an opportunity for healing and not just for continuous decline, you are not gonna make the same efforts, and you're gonna get sicker, and so it's really a vicious
And going
cycle.
back to your roots, I mean, like the reason we're talking about church is because my roots was church. I'm a preacher's kid, so I was in church all my life, 3 days a week, all my life until I left my home. So everywhere where I was safe and protected and loved and cared for, I was going to church 3 days a week. So with my mind and the way it's working with memory and time and all that, the best place for me to be would be right back in that place, so that I could get emotional healing, spiritual healing, the things that help me get better physically was unseen first.
Also, research shows that people who live close to family tend to live longer, have lower rates of depression, and maintain stronger cognitive function.
That blue zone is cool.
And why? Because
over 100 years old,
of,
tons of them.
Because of, besides of feeling supported, they also feel needed. They feel like they have a purpose. They naturally step into helping others, and they receive help when they need it. Because when you're in a community, it's so much easier to see.
You know, one of the other things in the blue zone they do? Garden. That was another one of the things that they do in the blue zone that people.
So the support system helps to regulate stress, and then it also gives us a purpose and a belonging, and that belonging to a thing that's greater than you is kind of like an emotional safety net, like how it feels to me when I think about it. So if you haven't experienced it, you don't really know what it is like. And I feel like that's a lot of times that's the problem with people, that they had no experience with it.
Right.
Because they got hurt and they put up fences too fast and all that kind of stuff. But really, we all would be healthier if we had like a better relationship with our immediate
If you have
community.
one person that cares about you, understands you, you're going to be healthier than if you had no one. So getting a community, you don't means everyone in the community understands you and wants to hang out with you, okay? But you'll find that in a community, there are there are, if you don't have one, our goal is to help build them. That's why we're talking about it. Our goal is to help get people out of the mindset that they're in and bring them into a new mindset somewhere where they can heal. And I was in desperate need. I was at the lowest. There was no other place for me to go but buried. And here I am today. And I'm doing this much better because of these steps. I had to change the way I thought. I was so against religious folks. My mind had been fractured. My heart had been broken. Too many things had happened in my past that pushed me towards this direction and created the man I was. Well, I'd already forgotten and had no connection to so many of these things, but still, that was who I was. You know, I was still going down that road. For me to change, to go to church and to hang out and do the things that I do now compared to how I used to live, totally, it's night and day. And it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I called smoking pot landing easy. It's like a safe landing. Instead of I quit everything at once, use THC to land slowly and softly down to the earth. Now I'm here, and it's been 7 years sober. But it took one decision at a time to get better. One of the most important decisions we made was getting me back to my family. My family just so happened to be
And so
pastors.
I want to stress again that today we're talking about getting back to the family and being part of a community. And that's what, but when you actually look at the overall effect of that on society, then you see that community relationships with people, that's what balances society.
Well, look back at our past. Humans are wired as a
when
tribe.
communities operate with connection, that's when it's the same way in business too. You know, like if you don't have a community, your business is not gonna thrive. And then if you look at the word is thriving when there is connection, relationship, and cooperation.
Yeah.
So the practical takeaway is not for you to go to church, okay? It's for you to find a community that helps you to heal emotionally, mentally, and then therefore
Absolutely.
physically, and hopefully spiritually too. Because if you really want all three of those, you have to admit it that you have a soul. Like no matter what, you know, you just have 28 grams missing.
Hey,
Oops,
watch it now.
So sorry, 28 grams lighter when we die.
When we die, we're 28 grams lighter.
Yeah.
It's not like an 8-ball. Got an 8-ball going to heaven.
So my suggestion for you would be to find a group, join a group. You know,
that'd be 3.4
go to the
grams.
gym, go to a networking group, or
Get involved.
or go to
Donate
recovery.
your time.
Or you want to tell about your friend without mentioning his name, who's attending an AA meeting every day, and what that's done for him?
Okay, so this is community. This is what we're talking about getting involved in. One of my friends who had a severe injury at high school, my earliest known friend, brain injured friend, and very big story. He lost all of it, all of his memory, his ability to walk, talk. He had to relearn everything. And now he's 53. Yeah, from a brain injury. He had a wreck his senior year of high school and hit his head, ran directly into a wall at like 90 miles an hour or something. You know, I had mine in 2008, and I was 90 mile an hour impact head-on collision as well. He goes to, well, he didn't go to anything. He went to, he recovered, got his ability to communicate somewhat back, and went back to normal life after he got better years later. And then he got married and had kids, but the effects of brain injuries on your personality and your life and the decisions you make all caught up with him. And he ended up going to jail again, and spent more time in jail due to drinking. And so when he got out of jail the last time, he started going to AA, and he's not missed a day since. And that's been 20-something years. It's helped him. He lost everything, but he's living. He's happy. He don't feel like
So you see,
killing himself or anything.
so you don't have to go to a church. That routine and community is what's gonna make you faithful and successful, and it applies to everything, every aspect of your life. Not so it doesn't matter. You can think your way out of it. I've done it for many years, but I'm grateful for having a community where I can both do something for when my time allows, and both get from when I need something that I couldn't do by
if you're
myself.
in a really bad place, you have no community, and you don't know where to start, it's find your local food bank. Just find your local food bank and find out what day they hand out food, and go there and just hand out. Say, I want to volunteer to hand out food, and help hand out food to those who are hungry, and just watch what happens.
And one of the reasons why this conversation that we mentioned at the beginning with Chris brought up this conversation in which we heard from athletes that, you know what, in spite of the issues that I'm experiencing, sweeping the sidewalk once a week or whatever, just whatever reason, it makes me feel great, makes me feel like
Mowing the neighbor's yard, find you an elderly person that
better,
needs cared
like I
for.
can't really explain. And so the statistics explain, and then our life for the 7 years is supposed to be an example of that. And that's why David is feeling so much better partially. And then so that's why, when people come to us and they say, hey, what you've done in the past 7 years, this was a huge part of it. So we can't really just give you, the to-do list without this, and then not tell you that this was a part of
what's
it.
really exciting about what we're talking about here is the fact that we're working together now with this international group, Tempest, and their vision and our vision just went right together and combined into, it works perfectly, and we're excited to be a part of it.
This is one of the reasons why that synergy has happened, because we all understand deeply that we need a community.
It needs to be a community of people who understand you and get you.
When it comes to caring for people, like hospitals and these kind of facilities are some of the worst environments for people with neurodegenerative
They give you the worst
diseases.
food too, which is one of our medicines. Like one of the number one things number one thing that's affected me positively is the faithfulness of the food. The food you think about, you put in your mouth, what you consume is what creates your being, your health, the whole total thing. What you put into you is what you are.
Yeah, the faithfulness is very much like how he describes it. It talks more about like a stewardship is what it is. So like that stewardship you have to show towards yourself, you have to show it towards your community. And when you have that stewardship like ingrained into your daily activities, then you stay grounded, you're gonna have a routine, and you're gonna have an ability to heal from conditions that normally doctors tell you that you're not able to.
Yes.
And
I believe more and more miracles what we're going to see when we get this rolling over here. They've already got a property opening up, I believe, the end of this month in Yorkshire, the UK. I'm excited about that.
so if you have a community, that's great, and then keep do what you're doing. And if you don't have a community and you like this, then we have a community on Facebook called Wellness Tuners, which is a private group, and we'd love to invite you there.
Come on in.
If you're interested. I mean, you can invite
Hey, listen,
yourself.
a community balanced society, when communities operate with connection, service, and purpose, crime goes down, suicide rates go down, addiction declines, mental health improves, loneliness decreases, families strengthen, communities become healthier when individuals reconnect. Individuals become healthier when they feel part of something bigger than themselves. So this is what the entire message is proven over and over and over again.
So volunteer, or check on your neighbor, or, move into an area where you can visit your friend regularly, or your family, or just make friends in the area where you are at with your neighbors and everybody.
You don't need a big tribe. You just need a few people you can serve and a few people who can serve you.
Just reach that level where you feel you're connected. That, even if it's not well connected, but connected to life, to what's going on around you. So if you have any questions for us, reach out to either the chat, you can drop a comment here and ask any questions, or you can just come back. We're probably gonna be here at 11:11 next week.
Every week at 11:11
Central Time.
And what we got? Frog Sprog. Hey, Frog, thanks for sticking with us today.
Yes, I appreciate your comments.
All your comments.
They were good. It brought me back to why we're talking about this. It's not about church. It's a different thing, but this is how we did it, and to the greatest surprise of both of us.
Yeah, right. I'm still here, and that's the biggest part of the evidence. Not only am I still here, it's the fact that I'm doing so good. Yeah, I still have issues. I'm got brain damage, but the fact that my issues aren't controlling my life, that's key. And I'm not trying to take my life anymore. I'm giving my life to help someone else get.
And then we also heard from one of the founders of the Patrick City Awareness Foundation that this is
something they're hearing from a lot of players they speak to, is that they need a community and they need some place to go to. And ultimately, we're a part of a movement that's going to go across the whole globe. I mean, it's already started in several different countries. The idea is already blooming, and we're just to be a part of it, founding members of the group here in America. And I'm excited to be able to show that to you guys very soon. I believe we'll be able to, the 17th? What is today, the 15th? I believe it's the 17th that they get keys.
Is it?
Yeah. And we get to start showing it. I've been making a film all the last 7 years of my life, and it's called The Man Who Couldn't Kill Himself. We already got kicked off of the TikTok, so I can say whatever I want to now. Anyway, the title of the movie is The Man Who Couldn't Kill Himself, and it's showing one community after another that we lived in, the things that were done wrong in each place, the things that were done right in each place, the moves we made, the strategies we did, the lifestyle changes, the every time I fall off the wall and go crazy. Evidence and proof that, this is a disease, that this ain't rational thinking right here. We filmed it. And so we're making a film that will educate you and make you feel less alone if you're a traumatic brain injury survivor and you've got a line of craziness behind you that you're ashamed to tell anyone. You'll be among people that understand.
It's gonna help you to feel connected,
and there's a big group of us out there, folks.
It's
a huge group, and we plan on making a difference in people's lives, and through this community, we'll reach your home. That's how we got here today, just by the community of Patrick Risha CTE
Follow
Foundation.
us or like us. Visit stopcte.org to learn more about the Patrick Risha CTE Awareness Foundation.
I'm just so surprised. Like right now, I let you just cut me right off, and I didn't even talk over you. I was able to go, well, let's just wait at my turn. That's healing, because I didn't ever do that. I talked right over everybody. So. That's a change from the last few months.
All right. So thanks guys for coming, and feel free to visit us in Wellness Tuners on
Go to
Facebook.
stopcte.org and find out how you can help your community. Stop CTE. Stay unburied, folks.
Au revoir. I said viszontlátásra.
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 Viszontlátásra.